What up? What's going on? We don't have Matt here to do the intro. Does that mean we can just make up our own intro?
I'm gonna come up with an intro right now.
That's the way to do it. Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to CryptoComics Podcast, the coolest, most influential stream on the interwebs.
I like it. I like it. I say we run with that from now on. Nobody's Legion says no, Matt. We had to put him down. He kept shooting on the furniture. It's pretty sad.
He ditched me, is what happened.
That guy, I swear. Oh, hey, look, Dominic Colby says, hey, Frey, so you're not in your normal room. I am not. I am like 600 miles away now.
Oh, my geez. What the hell is behind you, dude? That is a disgrace
in my
to the
new
American
normal room.
Flag.
What? I just, I realize there's so many Buffalo people that watch our stream. I wanted to make sure I represent a little bit. No, I think the background for the stream will be this wall in the future, but we're still getting all set up. So,
Patriot Dolphins flag is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Like, way to just put it out there. That was killer.
Let's see. Zeal comes in and says, "Coolest, yes indeed." Nobody's illusion says, "Eh." Zeal says, "Hey guys, how are you now?" Doing good, man. How are you doing? And Nobody's illusion says, "Hashtag
yeah, I
where
hope
in
you're
the world
doing
is..."
good.
It's like Carmen Sandiego with an epic beard. I was talking about Jared there. I'm not sure why Jared's cutting himself out. What's up, Matt?
Hey, what's up?
And then Nobody's illusion says, "Where in the world is Frey?" And Jared keeps removing himself. Jared, we gotta remove your permissions.
I didn't remove myself. Took away my permissions. Remember? Just remember.
All right.
I'm promising you're going to remove the permissions.
I know. Hey, Jared, your mic's cutting out real bad tonight, so I'm gonna let everybody know. So Jared's
it's crap.
Yeah, so Jared's connection tonight is kind of out there just because of the weather and stuff like that. So if his voice comes through correctly and stuff like that, we'll try to give him an opportunity to replay what he has just said, or I will do my very best at speaking on behalf for Jared. I think that would be fun.
Not at all.
Dominic says, so why Frey far away? Oh, Zeal says, I'm all right, live and working hard.
Nice.
Very nice. Very good, dude.
Read the Frey. Oh, everything is
Go ahead.
freaking. Oh, the sock. No, it's my bad. It's fast. It's just. Poor she is.
You kind of
Oh,
remind me of
neck.
like Yosemite Sam.
Oh my gosh. All right. Just to let everybody know, the greatest part of this is that Jared's actually going to announce the badge codes later. So just cross your fingers that his connection comes out better. All right, Dominic.
Code is.
Yeah,
What?
Dominic says. So why is Frey so far away? Frey moved. Actually, that is why Frey is so far away. Frey is now living in Las Vegas. So, and for a fat kid, it was not a good idea.
Vegas or something like that.
What?
I think he said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh,
Except for chlamydia? Nobody's literally says Jared in the early 2000s camera quality. His camera is actually really nice. It's his internet connection that's screwing us over. Vav says, so you're the Jared whisperer. I'm gonna do that tonight. This is gonna happen. Nobody's illusions laugh and says, oh no. And then nobody says the badge code is all right.
Yeah, badges are coming.
JD Smith DJ Artist says Jared's connection is interrupting him. How does it feel, Jared? How does it feel, Jared?
Whatever.
All right. So let's see. Let's get into the show tonight. So the show tonight is what really gives comics value.
Ooh.
Supposed to be kind of fun. So let's see. Chat, first of all, what do you guys look for in a comic as far as its value goes? Do you guys look at the quality? Do you guys look for specific like key issues? Certain characters, maybe hold a higher value to you or less. Publishers, writers, artists, colorists. I know a guy that collects specific books from a certain letterer. Actually,
Really?
yeah. So I want to hear what Chat has to say on that one, because it seems like everybody's kind of collecting for something different. You know what I mean?
So I actually wrote a blog post on this about 2 months ago. I wish we would have saved it until, this week, but yeah.
Well, whoever came up with the ideas for these weekly schedules might have just saw the blog post, thought it was a good idea to do a show on it. I mean, maybe that's what happened.
I just put a link to the blog post in the chat right now. So after the show's over, go check it out.
Right on. Let's see. Cyrus the Great comes in and says, "Yo, the stream looks good, Frey." Yeah, it seems to be coming through okay. Jared's got some issues on his connection, so he won't be speaking much. I doubt that. He's gonna say something and she'll just cut in and out the whole time though. Crutchy comes in and says, "Yo, happy Monday. I look to see how much passion the creator actually has." That's a good one. That's a good one. Dominic Colby comes in and says that he looks for art.
I know a lot of people go with art.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, it seems like when it comes to the creativity of the comic, it's either the art or the writing team. It's never both. It almost seems like it's never both. Like one person is a diehard creator of or follower of the artist, or the other one's a diehard creator or follower of the writer. But it's kind of rare that they intermingle there.
Nobody's Illusion says, "Huh, interesting. I collect based on what I like, not necessarily what's popular." Okay, well then, Nobody's. what I'd like to ask is, what is the specifics that make you look for a certain book over another? Go for that. Dominic says, is that whip on the futon?
Yes, that totally is. That is his couch.
You have, that is great. That is wonderful.
Oh, yeah. And
think
those are
everybody
his
needs a
bottles of
whip.
booze next to the futon. Those are totally his, not mine.
Oh, man. Sandra comes in and says, look, my nerd. Who's? Is this obtaining ownership of a specific nerd? Can you do that? Is that legal?
I don't know. But look, we're all nerds here.
JD Smith Digiardo says, I collect as many consecutive issues of whichever series I'm currently in love with. I don't collect first appearances, certain artists, etc. So I'm
what actually makes you in love with those comics or that particular run?
Yeah, I mean, and how are you finding new books to kind of grab onto like that? Let's see. Vav says, do unique features boost value? Like the first one to do foil covers, etc. New tech innovation. We talked to Dan. Yeah, we talked to Dan Cote. He used a lot of new print press operations and did the first. Was it right? Am I right here? It was the first die cut cover, like supplement die cut cover. I think that's right. And that one's like a huge collector's item, but that's hard to say though, because that's also like one of the first prints of Zen Intergalactic Ninja, if I remember right, that he did that on. So that's also a key book at the same time. So makes you wonder if it's worth that because of the print process or not.
So speaking of which, I'm actually my kind of side gig. I'm working at a print shop, and we recently did a book that was basically kind of like a comic book, and what it was actually the old style print where you had to take the little metal pieces and actually set them up there, and it would press it onto the comic. It was pretty cool to watch.
Kind of like a Gutenberg.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's neat.
Oh yeah.
I want to get a Gutenberg tattoo.
That'd be cool.
I think it'd be fun. Well, let's see. Nobody's Illusion says same. JD Smith says, but I buy comics for the stories. I collect because I love the series and or the creative teams. That's nice. Rose comes in. What's up, Rose? Says, hi, good morning to you. Tuesday morning. Hello. Love to buy comics to escape and have an adventure.
Yes. I love that.
And JD Smith says, I differentiate buying with collecting. I do as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Nobody says, I do tend to collect based on certain authors then, like Jeff Lemire, or is it Lemire?
I couldn't tell you.
Lemire.
I'm pretty sure it's not Lemire.
That's awesome. It's Lemire. It's Jeff
favorite
Lemire.
ever since Gideon Falls. It could be. Whatever you just did, your voice is coming through a lot better now.
Hey, so's your camera.
So what?
Oh, no, he's just trying to be annoying.
I gotta say, so I had to go DD for my friend's birthday party, and I was pulling that trick on a whole bunch of drunk people. It was hilarious. I ended up actually getting kicked out for messing with it. I'm like, I'm the only sober guy getting kicked out of the bar, and they're like, yeah, okay.
That's awesome, dude. And you were the DD?
Yeah. I had to wait in my car, dude. It was
That's so great.
All right. Well, since we're talking about values here, it's hard to do that without talking about the USD value on things.
Okay.
But so the first topic outline we've got to go over here is the most valuable, or some of the most valuable comics that have ever sold.
I'm guessing they're probably coming from the golden age.
Well, Amazing Fantasy 15 It has number 1, but it's because it's a slabbed 9.6.
Oh.
And that one sold at 3.6 million.
Oh. How would that be?
I would open it.
Hold on.
What?
If you
Hold
got
the freaking
$3.6
phone.
million to throw down on the first appearance of Spider-Man, open it. You're
okay.
already stupid rich.
If you told me that you just got the slab and you were about to open it, I would make it a point to drive to your house just to slap you.
I'd open it
And be
before
like,
you could get there.
Whapa! No. And then I would take it away from you and I would put it, I wouldn't steal it because I ain't that kind of guy, but I would frame it on your wall with a hired security team that would tase you every time you even got like within 10 feet of it.
Let's see. Nobody's Illusions coming in and saying, wow, Matt's audio is kind of funky. Okay, so it isn't just me. I thought maybe that was just me because I'm in a new environment.
Yeah,
so
it's funky for me too.
So Matt's droning out a little bit there. So my apologies, guys. Sometimes we have these technical issues. You know what I mean? It's a live stream. It's what happens. Next one up, Amazing Comics number 1. CGC.
All right, how about now?
Sounds good. CGC 8.5. This one sold at 3.2 million USD.
Oh,
That's Action Comics number 1.
of course.
I mean, yeah, it's Superman. So
I wonder
you know
if
what I
those
mean?
people ever get buyer's remorse.
If you
$1 million
bought the first
for a
appearance
comic
of Spider-Man or Superman, nah,
for $1
you don't
million.
get buyer's remorse.
I mean,
If you could buy that for $1 million, there's no such thing as buyer's remorse.
really? For $1 million?
You might.
$1 million? 1 million? I mean, like $100,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, but
And
considering
you're
they go
telling
on
me
auction for
that a
$3
comic
million,
is going for 4 point. What was the first one, Frey?
The
I thought it
first one, Spider-Man.
3.8.
That one was
it 3.8?
3.6.
I was close.
$6 million.
And if you bought it for $1 million, you don't get buyer's remorse. You get praised by everybody. Okay.
I mean, you got bragging rights from hell for sure.
Yeah,
For sure,
you do.
but you're like, look, I've got the biggest pair on the table. Here's $1 million.
I mean, most of these are purchased by somebody who will never let it see the light of day.
A museum, maybe?
And they likely won't even share with anyone else that they own it. I mean, for example, one thing that is well known is that number 2, that CGC 8.5 of Superman's first appearance, that's owned by Eminem. That's Eminem.
Oh, for real?
At 3.2 million, yeah.
Didn't he actually buy it from Nicolas Cage? I thought he was the one putting it up for auction.
Nicolas Cage's was actually 3.2 million.
Oh,
it's also on the list. And here's the funny thing: Nick Cage's is a 9.0, so it's an even better grade.
Oh,
but so after Nicolas Cage, worth more?
Because he purchased it afterwards, and because Nicolas Cage's is the nicest one in existence. There hasn't ever been anything higher than a 9.0 on that book.
So yeah, but Nicolas Cage's was not as much as Eminem's.
Right. But you can't. You can't get. Yeah, you can't get a 9.0 anymore. So the value of all the rest of them kind of float up a little bit. And so that's what this stream's kind of about: is how does the supply and demand really work on comics? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, it just escapes them. Like especially. It gets especially difficult with like these golden age and silver age kind of books. And even now you're seeing a lot of this stuff happen with like the older Image titles. You're seeing a lot of stuff going kind of weird with like the mid 90s, like the X-Men runs and all that kind of stuff. Well, heck,
what kind of weird?
Things like New Mutants being worth a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because of the first appearance of Deadpool. Like
it started to kind of go up once the Mutants movie was first announced, and then when it it kept getting delayed and it kept creeping up. And then when the movie finally came out, it kind of started to go back down a little bit.
Oh, really?
Well, it
Gotta
all has
sell
to do with
during
the
the hype.
popularity of the movies.
Oh, before we go any further, guys, did we do a disclaimer?
That's a good point. We should do a disclaimer. CryptoComics is only for fun.
Yeah,
Entertainment. We are not here
Value.
for financial advice.
Or any other kind of advice, except maybe the right colors to wear in springtime.
Even that, it's going to probably be bad advice.
My bad. I meant nothing. We advise on nothing.
Dominic Colby comes in on Facebook. So why did Frey move to Vegas? Is it so you can be closer to conventions? Yeah, a lot of the stuff that CryptoComics
tassels,
has going
buddy.
on.
It's all tassels, Dominic.
You know where to go, Frey.
We all know the answer to that question, don't we, Dominic? Yep. Frey was like, hey, guys, I'm going to move to Tassel City. Or Sin City. Sorry. I meant Sin City. Sorry about that, Frey.
P3 Comics comes in over on Twitch saying, T3 Comics first sold for $10 billion.
What?
That's cool,
dude,
man.
I want some. Remember the little people?
Yeah, no doubt.
Hook us up. You can spare a $1
J. Smith Did Artist over on Twitch says the wife leaving because he used their kids' college funds to buy Superman. Yeah, I hope there's some buyer remorse then.
Yeah. Right on, Digi. You get me. You get what I was thinking. Like
Jetty Smith says,
hot water.
If I owned Amazing Fantasy number 15, I'd post photos of it every day on Instagram so that everyone can enjoy it without leaving their Cheeto-fingered prints on my copy.
Now, hold on. In 2016, Amazing Fantasy number 15 had sold for $454,100, and that set a record in 2016. What was the latest of Amazing Fantasy number 15? What was that sell for?
The latest one is the one we were just talking about, 3.6 million. But it's a 9.6 CGC. So that people understand what that means. It is nearly perfect.
This was a 9.4.
A 9.4 to a 9.6 might not seem like it's that big of a difference, but on a book that old, it's a big difference.
So keep in mind that comic collecting wasn't really a thing until about the 70s. So before then, if you actually had a comic collection, it was, I'm saving them for the story. So they were just kept in a box or something like that. They would get damaged. Plus, during the Golden Age, I mean, you also have kind of the height of World War II, where everything was made differently. For example, a lot of comics would only get one staple right in the middle. So that led to, that led to a lot of these, even if like, hey, I still have the original, it's damaged beyond repair just because of how it was made at the time. People were actually encouraged back then to recycle them. You were supposed to, if you bought one, lend it to your friends so they don't have to spend that nickel. And when they're all done, recycle it. So there's so few comics that really made it through that golden age unscathed.
Yeah, and now they're defining the golden age right now. Like solid gold. Solid gold! Actually, I think they're worth more than gold.
Some of them. As far as the weight goes, yeah, some of them are. T3 says, speaking of rappers and NFTs, nobody spoke of rappers and NFTs, but we're going to go there anyways. We're going to have multiple special editions of Death Dwells. Yes, sir.
That's
we look forward to your announcement on that, T3.
He kind of co-announced it with you, Frey.
Yeah, well, we're working on something. You usually wait to make an announcement until it's done being worked on, T3.
No.
So
You guys
everything's
did
all
great.
together.
That
Dominic
came across
comes in.
really smooth.
Ooh, Dominic comes in here with some nightmare fuel. Have you ever dropped a slab, or are they sturdy enough that they won't harm them?
I have never dropped a slab, nor have I flooded a slab.
I have flooded slabs. I
Ooh.
have flooded an entire box of slabs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Did they make it?
Oh no. Nope.
Really?
Nope. A
I thought
slab
the
is
slab
not
was
waterproof.
impervious.
Nope. It's just a plastic
What?
case to do its best on keeping
Yeah,
things
plastic
safe.
lives forever.
Well, around the outside edge where they put the front and the back together, there's like, I mean, it's tiny. It's very, very difficult to even get water into it. But if you submerge it, I mean, water is water.
It'll slowly find that hole and
Let me
seep
just
through.
say, when he first told me that, I curled up into a ball and started
You cried
crying
for him.
It was bad.
I cried for him.
But here's the benefit of having slabbed comics. Because they were slabbed, all I had to do is pull them out of the box, take pictures to prove that they were ruined, covered on insurance.
What? Wait.
Mhm.
Oh, because the slab company. So
because the slab shows exactly what condition it was in. Well, they're not insuring it. Your homeowner's insurance would insure it. However, you're able to prove what the value would have been. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a slab so I can kind of explain this.
So could you take a slab and then put a 9.4 sticker in the corner like it was slabbed and put some comic in there?
There's a barcode on there that you're gonna have to scan it. So
okay, so there's some legitimate safeguards. You ain't able to freaking pull a fasty on the insurance company. Don't even try it. We ain't advising nothing here.
Yeah. So you also have different. Some people call them graders. Some people call them manufacturers. I usually call them graders, but you have different companies that actually do the slabs as well.
Is it a 9.8?
So you have like Halo here. Halo is,
I love that game.
You see these more in comics that come from different parts of the world, like the UK. This one's from Australia. They're a bit bigger over there. So this one's XET. Shout out to XET, awesome team.
Dude, that's a 9.8. Isn't that a holy grail?
So it's 9.8. What that means is that it's nearly perfect.
So is it a unicorn? Isn't a 9.8 a unicorn?
You don't see them very frequently, is the thing. So I love
10.0 is the unicorn because you never see them.
10.0, I've never even heard of one. Theoretical, you could do a 10.0, but I've never heard of one. So another company here, CGC, this one's kind of more well-known. One of the things that you'll notice is the blue to the gold. And what that means
is that just blue different companies?
Yeah, so blue means it's a standard book. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different color codes, guys. We're not going to go into all those. Like there's green and there's, all sorts of stuff. But mainly what
it will
see
say on the top what it is.
And the gold. Yeah, and so what gold means is this means that it has been signed and verified with the signature who it is that signed it. So this one's a little different because this one's from Gemma Young. This one's a 9.8, which is awesome, but it's actually a full sketch cover. So it still classifies as being a signed comic, even though it's not a signed comic. It's, you know what I mean? And this is the only sketch cover I've ever seen that's a 9.8.
That blows my mind. I still don't understand how she was able to do that, to actually press on it with pencil and it not indent into at least the back of that cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if maybe with sketch covers they have
look at how soft that drawing looks. Look at how soft.
I have sketch covers and
yeah, it could have been anything, and it would have never got a 9.8. You know what I mean? One of the things that I think is that maybe she had done this in a very specific way to make sure it was done to get the highest grade possible. Things like that. And I think
absolutely. Knowing Gemma.
Well, I know that there are other copies of, different comics, not just Doctor Strange like this, but other comics that are sketch covers that have gotten a 9.8. that I've seen like online and everything. This is just the only one I've seen in person. So when I say that, you know, people don't have to blow me up with Google results. But one of the things here is you'll notice that you've got kind of this holographic sticker here. This is something that CGC does to kind of help kind of go against what you were talking about, Jared. How come somebody doesn't just take a sticker?
Wait a minute. Whoa. So that's like a certificate. That's like a stamp certificate of authenticity.
And then right here in the middle, you've got a barcode that can actually be scanned.
There's the barcode.
And this book is in their database. So you can verify, yes, this was a 9.8, this was all that. So if I take this and I try to manipulate it to say it's a 10.0, you can still scan that barcode and tell it was a 9.8. Which is funny because a lot of people have a difficult time understanding NFTs and how NFTs really work. And literally, this is essentially doing the exact same thing that an NFT does, that our blockchain does. The difference is I can't take this out and enjoy the book. But with an NFT, I can read the book. You know what I mean? I can read it 100 times and it doesn't get beat up. Whereas this, if I crack it open, it's no longer a 9.8. You know what I mean? Well, chances aren't. But you also have, like, this is my grail.
Oh,
I love this book. Huge shout out to Mike Barron for being. I'm like his favorite person. I don't know if you guys knew that. I mean, clearly, right? Clearly.
Is that a 9.9?
That's a 9.9.
That's a 9.9. Yeah.
Wow.
That is the only 9.9 I have ever seen, and I own it. So I'm like pretty stoked about that. And it's a Mike Barron book, which is pretty rad.
Right. Mike Barron is a stud. So Crutchy was saying gold equals signature was witnessed prior to grading. Is that legit?
Yep. So it means that the artist or the creator of the book, say if it's a writer, something like that, that they signed it like just before it was graded. And you have like witness, you have non-witness, you've got, there's so many. There's like green labels. I think green labels is where it's been restored. That's when like CGC, CBCS, one of those companies can look at a book and they can say, oh, okay, this is like a 5.5, but I can tell that you just had this pressed and you had the pages cleaned to get it there. And they slap a green label on it, which means that at some point it was worse than that, but it was brought back up. And some collectors will literally go only off of the color of the slab. They won't collect blues or they won't collect greens or. Let's see. Jay Smith says, Oh, go ahead, Jared.
No. I apologize. I interrupted you. Go for it, sir.
Hey, I'm gonna bootleg 11 graded comics. Same way I made fake badges to a very popular convention that sold out.
Then saying ebook. No, it's not an ebook. Ebooks are PDFs, and PDFs are you're basically buying permission to view. So when you come up with a record of authenticity, you're buying ownership, and there is something that validates that. That's the difference between an NFT and an ebook. The Ninja, I love that name. The Ninja.
Dominic comes in and says, so is comic grading similar to grading, say, Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Actually, probably. Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all those are actually graded by the exact same companies. In fact,
really?
Grading cards like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports cards, all that kind of stuff, that actually came from the same companies that grade comics as a way for them to make additional income. Which is why when you look at those cards and you see the ones that are graded, they have the exact same type of layout here with the label across the top.
Well, for a 9.9, the staples must be perfect. If they are not perfectly bent, that grade is a lie, Frey. That's what Digi says. I'm not saying that. That's what Digi says.
What's funny is I've sat and looked at this thing like for hours trying to figure out what imperfection it's actually got that made it so that it wasn't a 10.
They can't look in it if it's a 9.8 and above, right? They don't look inside the book if it's a 9.8 and above, right?
Supposedly,
as far as I know, they will.
Yeah.
They'll white glove it.
The thing is that's weird is that there's no way I'm going to be able to show this on the camera, but the edges of this book, I didn't even notice until I really started looking at it, are absolutely perfect. Like the edge cut around the outside.
Oh wow, no fray or
It's
nothing.
just nothing. Like it's almost like a scalpel could cut it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I can't, but I still can't figure out where did it lose the 0.1? Because that's what I want to know now. I want to know, like, was there a fingerprint
gained
somewhere?
a 0.1. How it gained a 0.1. That's your off-worlder. That's the 9.9. How did it
I
gain
can tell you
that
right
point?
now, they knew it was going to you, so they're like, oh, it can't be a perfect 10. No.
So Mike took it in the back room, breathed on it heavily. Was like, he ain't getting a 10. Andrew Dodge says, "Oh, go ahead, Jared. I'm just running as fast as I can here because I'm trying to keep time down." Andrew Dodge says, "Green is shit."
I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Andrew Dodge says green is qualified grading. Purple is restored grading. Oh, purple is restored. Sorry. Thank you. Yellow is restored signed graded copy. Nice. JD Smith says, also, I want blacklight forensic file proof that book is, in fact, a 9.9. There has to be a piece of dandruff or an eyelash somewhere in there.
Yeah, right? Right? I'm with you, Digi. I'm with you. But, taking into account it's Mike Barron, taking into account what a stud he is and how legitimate he is, I would have to say that I don't think anybody was given extra perks to give that grading so that Frey could own a piece of a unicorn's tail.
I like to think otherwise, that Mike Barron is just a huge super fan of Frey and just wanted to make sure that Frey was out.
Of course. My bad. You're right. You're right.
Hold up. This is Mike Barron. You remember the first time he was on our show, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Matter of fact, I remember.
Like, oh, wait, are we done?
Man, if you need a bounce, don't worry about. And then he was gone. I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, that was great.
Huge shout out on this comment.
Frey.
Leslie comes out on Facebook saying, jumping in and commenting to say, hey, to help with the algorithm before laying back down. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey. And everybody else, if you guys want to help, please do the same. Like, subscribe, share the video out, send it to your grandparents. This one's pretty happy. I think your grandma will like it.
Yeah. Oh, hey guys, guess what? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're 6 minutes over. So can you wrap it up?
We're not 6 minutes over. It's supposed to be 45 minutes.
We are. No, it was 30.
Now you're dropping us down to 30? This is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, dude. Weren't you at the board meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell. You were probably like not paying attention.
Jared?
Wait.
Which one of us reports in the board meeting?
You.
So how did I not pay attention?
But I listened to your report, so I'm there, droning on, just.
All right,
guys, we're not leaving yet.
Andrew Dodge comes in, Frey just kissed the Baron's ass. I absolutely.
Yes, he did.
I got one word for anybody that doesn't: Punisher. Right, that's it.
It's coming. It's coming. Nobody's just be ready. I can't tell you when.
You know what? I made a meme just for this. There you go, nobody. That's you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is exactly.
That is nobody.
Oh, I feel like I relate to that meme. That's awesome.
Jason Fidjarda says, so in 3 months, the stream will be 10 minutes. I guess.
I'm working on it, Digi. I am working on it. We will make changes that will make everyone happy.
What we're trying to do is make it so that the Monday show is a little bit shorter, so it's more digestible for everybody. But the focus shows, Studio and Origin Story, are going to be long format. Plenty of.
And when we do like special events, like convention shows and stuff like that, then we're going to do a lot more format. But I mean, honestly, guys, you can only take so much of this gorgeousness. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I understand. They tell me they're like we can't handle too much of you, bro. I'm like, I know. So we're just trying to do everybody a favor.
We
Andrew
do tell
Dodge.
them that.
Andrew Dodge says, "How about we talk about comics versus shop talk?"
Oh, geez, Crutchy, that was just rude, bro.
We're trying to get into
It's
it.
true, Matt. It's true, Frey. You guys got to stop.
I remember the glory days when my woman got mad at me for listening to nerds talk comic for 4 hours. You know what? You can thank us later. Actually, no. You can thank us by going to the website, looking up our address, and sending us care packages of yummy goodies.
My
Because we have
address
saved
better
your
not be on the
relationship.
website.
The
He
office.
didn't save his relationship. He was being facetious.
Do you even know what that word means?
Yes,
You good? Yeah, you're good. You probably do.
I do. That's why I use it properly.
I just
Okay,
realized that you
so,
never use.
Can we get back on topic?
Whatever. I use big words like mayonnaise all the time.
That's true, but you usually Google it directly after using it.
No. I try to Google it before I. Oh, you're right. No, I do Google it after I use it. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's right.
All right, so here's a question I have for the chat, and this may be irrelevant to ask right now because this is probably going to change as soon as we go live. But a lot of creators have been asking us how many copies should they set available for each book.
Ooh.
So chat, how many books in total for a comic creator to come out with would you say is acceptable that you would still see value?
Hold on.
Go on.
Can I kind of change up that question a little bit? What I would like to know is for everybody in chat, okay, really think about this. So you have a marketplace full of comic books. What would you like to see as far as what's so funny?
Nothing.
Andrew Dodge comes in chat and says, "Sorry, but not sorry. Drop Jared
Done.
on Monday. Get the 5 minutes to get through all the content you planned on." Damn it, Crutchy. Why would you do that? I think
he actually dropped. Like he dropped.
Oh. Well, he's also got the farm that he's trying to run right now too, so he's trying to go as quick as possible. He just might not have had time to stay on this stream, guys, to be totally honest with you. But Crutchy, totally your fault, man. Once again, address is on the website if you want to send delicious snacks to say you're sorry to Jared. I promise that I won't intercept them here in the office.
All right, so back to what you were saying just a second ago. When it comes to typical comic runs, you're talking the big industry. They're coming out with about 100 to 150,000 on each individual run. So, as indie, what would you guys actually say is a good run? I mean, would you go with 100 as far as the NFTs go?
Yeah, we'd really want to know.
And I would also like to know what you typically print to take to conventions and stuff like that.
Well, JD Smith comes in right now and says, "LOL," right when Jared was actually asking a serious question. I know, that's the Crutchy. Why? Dominic comes in and says, "I think 100 copies." Okay, that's cool. See, I'm thinking that like 1,000 to 10,000, depending on how much limited availability that creator wants to go with. And then I'm thinking like crazy variants and stuff like that, closer to like 10, 20 availability. The reason I say that is because the nice thing about digital is you don't have to limit your audience. You know what I mean? But the benefit of an NFT is that you can create more exclusivity. So you got to try to figure out that balance.
So with that balance, what about having a smaller number, even like up to 100, and then allowing for the PDFs to be sold as well? So you have those specifically for the collectors and those who just for those people who want to get into the story, catch up on an issue, something like that.
That's a good point. I mean, the thing with availability is, so for example, MVR, Martians versus Rednecks, they came into this system and I believe it was how many got grabbed 450, something like that. I'm not sure. A lot. And so some of you guys are saying like I think 100 copies. Nobody's Loser says 100 to 250. So for example, the Martians versus Rednecks fans alone would have totally made it so that nobody else could grab a hold of that book. Twice over. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to depend on the book too and the community. Oh, sorry, I missed a comment here. Nobody's Loser comes in on Twitch, says, "Then we lost Jared. We love you though, Jared." Oh, look at that little emoji. That's now the Jared emoji. Okay, little chibi with a heart. Rose Kirby on YouTube says, "So you're shortening the show." We are just shortening down on Monday, so that it's not quite so long. Because we were going up to like what 3 hours, 4 hours some nights. It was crazy. Make it easier on Mondays, but we're going to have additional shows, such as Studio and Origin Story. And so we think that those shows will remain long format. A lot of participation with creators, stuff like that, more relevant information there. This show where it's just us kind of hanging out and having fun and doing our thing is going to be primarily talking about different elements in the news, different topics each week, and system updates and things like that. It'll be sweet. JD Smith says, "Oof, no idea. I would assume 1,000 to 10,000." Let's see. Dominic Colby says, "To be honest, I think 10,000 is way too much," and that goes right back to what you were talking about, Matt. With the availability on mass market. JD Smith Digiartist says, "I guess it depends too if the creator and publisher is planning on doing a second print run of the NFT." So here's another option. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. NFT folk like myself don't usually like to see a second print run of NFTs. I mean, I feel like it erodes the value of the first unless the second's got something else of value. But our system makes it easy for them to change out the different enhanced features. So what do you think, man?
So if I was to do an NFT, limiting the first one, like the first run, to say 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm adding all the audio features, all that kind of stuff. And then the second run, I wouldn't necessarily have that, and I would have more available at a lower cost initially. So also a separate cover or something like that, just so people can easily distinguish that, hey, this and this are two separate, basically separate entities with two separate values.
So, for example, if one book, if it's the exact same book, but issue 1 is just the book itself, issue 2's got a soundtrack, however, then
I would say totally issue 1 and then 1B.
I like that. That's cool. That's a cool naming convention. I like that. Maybe we're gonna have to start talking to creators, see if maybe we can get people to bite off on that. I think that's a cool idea. I think it'd make it really easy for people to find those things too. Andrew Dodge comes in and says, "With the lower cost on producing NFTs, 5,000 to 20,000 for general issues, but 100 to 500 for limited edition." Keep in mind, Andrew Dodge, the cost of producing NFTs is still the cost of making a comic. So these creators aren't just coming out with a comic book for free. You know what I mean? It's a different platform to digest that material. It's a different platform to experience it. It's a different set and mentality on the purchase and how that supports the creators. But it still costs that creator the exact same amount to make that comic book. So the production costs are still actually exactly the same. And sometimes they're even a little bit more. Reason being is because on a print book, you can do a lot of things like Kickstarters and campaigns and stuff like that. You can bulk, your print costs and all those kind of things together to try to offset and save some money. You can even do that with shipping. You know what I mean? Whereas with an NFT, the copy of an NFT is only sold is only minted once it's sold. So it's not like a creator can be like, "Oh, well, I'm going to mint 10,000 of these for a discount right now." You know what I mean? It's all up in the air. So we try to do our very best to make that as easy as possible for them, though, and we'll have a lot more news about that in StacksNet coming up here really soon, actually. But yeah, so keep in mind as far as that, I guess that squandering of the goods kind of a thing. Dominic comes in and says, question: if some run did a runoff 100 is book one and book 100 is the most sought after books. Okay, I got to reread this. Sorry. Question: if someone did a run of 100, is book one and book 100 the most sought after books? Got it. All right.
Okay. I'm going to say the lower the number. Traditionally in comics, the lower the number has always been the most sought after. Now, that being said, with the initial print runs, it didn't say this is book, this came off the printer in this particular order. So that was typically determined by issue number. But once you get into the print runs itself, the earlier print runs are generally always more valuable, unless there's some very unique variant cover that's the one people really want. As far as NFTs, once again, it's the lower the number. That's just traditional kind of human nature. They want, the lower number, the better.
That would be kind of neat to have the last, though.
Why? I guess I'm wondering what circumstance would cause the last one to be.
Well, for example, if there was a limited run of 100 books, and I was able to sneak in at that last second and grab the last available one, might be kind of neat to have. You know what I mean? Probably too early to tell for us if that's going to cause any type of value change, but as Matt was saying, early.
I'm thinking maybe, as like if there was a unique circumstance, like here's a murder mystery called 187, and they only did 187 on that particular run. Maybe getting 187 would be, I guess, would it be more bragging rights, or would the value of it actually go up?
Well, I mean, I think really it's bragging rights. I mean, really, you know what I mean? But because of those bragging rights, sometimes the value goes into. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you could prove, like right now, if you can prove that you have a press copy of a key comic, it's worth dramatically more than a newsstand edition or a direct mailer. You know what I mean? And what that means for anybody's interested is that's a copy of the book that was actually printed before the book was actually made. So they'll print a test run just to make sure the colors are in line. They'll make sure all the ads are in the right places. They'll make sure there's no typos, things like that. And when they do a proof, they would do, sometimes a couple hundred. I mean, it depends on how big the studio was, how big the book was, how hard they were going to be pushing it for marketing, things like that. Someone had once told me that Marvel actually changed the amount of proof copies, I should say, based entirely off of the advertisements and how popular the advertisements were inside of the book. So they would print extra copies because their sales staff that was selling those ad spaces would actually take them and use them as, fodder to show potential new clients. Oh, look how good, this advertisement looks here. Wouldn't you want to be able to compete with that? And that's why Marvel ended up doing a lot more proofs than most other companies did. But at the same token, because they had salesmen basically just taking handfuls of these things, they got trashed. You know what I mean? So it was really rare for anybody to find a proof. Let's see here. Rose comes in with a good question for you, Matt. Says, when is Studio actually coming on? I can't see very much now.
Let me pull up the schedule. it looks like our first show is going to be in July, and that's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to this one. New age tools for creating comics.
Well, and don't make any announcements yet. We might change some
Okay.
things. We're still starting and figuring this thing out, man. Come on now.
All right, and the studio is titled.
Yeah, and the guest is Nobody's Losing says, "Hey, wait! I just realized you said Jared was going to announce the badge code, and there's no Jared." Oh man,
we got
That's
you covered.
weird.
Don't worry.
So I will give you a little hint, Illusion. Twitch doesn't allow us to put descriptions on videos, but Facebook and YouTube do. Well, maybe you should look at another platform real quick. I love gold. Okay.
Or
Leslie,
you could also stay till the end, and we got you covered.
works too. Leslie comes in on Facebook saying, "I'm not sure if it's just on my end, but Matt's sound isn't coming through completely clear. Almost like there's a mic issue." Yeah, we've been having tech issues all night. It seems like we're trying to get them all sorted, but probably take us a few streams to get it worked out. We're all in different locations now. Jared's internet is powered by the Amish. I mean, it's crazy. Andrew Dodge talking about the proof there. Rose Kirby says, "Why not have the first 50 comics called unique and the rest called standard edition?" It's entirely up to the creator in our system. Some creators are doing enhanced editions. Some of them are doing standard editions. Some of them are naming them, I mean, in different elements based on the, I guess, genre that they publish in. Is that a safe way to say this, Matt, without going too far into details that haven't been announced? Yeah. So, yeah, I think as a whole, most people are going to be pretty dang excited for what we refer to as an enhanced copy, or a crypto comic. You know what I mean? That being said, who knows? Could be wrong. Jay Smith Digiarta says Matt's mic is burpy. And then Nobody's Loser says, "OMG, that badges are adorable." That's right, y'all. Looks like somebody found badges. Let's see. Let's double check. Make sure she find the right ones. I gotta look. Well, I didn't claim them yet because everyone friggin' everyone like seems to look for our profiles. You know what I mean? And then, you know, they try to guess like what the badge was or is going to be based on, you know, what we. Yeah.
Yep. All right,
and that's a good time for a reminder to not take anything we say too seriously, especially when it comes to investments. We are not giving you investor advice at all. Nobody's Illusion comes in with the description of this video, making sure everybody else on Twitch can see what potential items might be hiding there. Let's see here. Leslie says, "It's all good, and I get it. I missed the beginning, and I wasn't sure if I heard your end also. Have a good night, everyone." Right on. Thank you, Leslie. Dominic says, "What, watching your profiles? Who would do such a thing?"
Huh. Who would?
Yeah, I wonder. All right, that being said, we're about to close this thing up because we are way over time. But I wanted to make sure that everybody's aware who's on the chat inside the community. A lot of updates are coming through really, really quickly on the platform, so keep your eyes out for that. Continue to watch for bugs, things like that. Report any issues that you might run into. We are very, very close to opening these doors to live transactions, and we are looking forward to updating a lot of stuff. So the user experience is going to change a little bit. Some of you guys that have grown totally used to everything that's going on in there might have already seen a few things sneaking in here and there. One of the main things I'm excited about is a brand new activity feed that's way more community focused, and I think is going to be pretty sick. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. T3 Comics says that they're madly in love with us. Okay,
Oh,
not
love
madly.
you too, man.
It says, love you too, dude. Dominic Colby says, will there still be badges when you're live? Yes. And not only that, we figured out a way.
Don't you dare.
I can't say much more. Yes, they're still going to be here. And yeah. Yep, they're still going to be here.
We'll say yes for right now, and that's it. That's all we're saying.
Mm-hmm. They're going to graduate.
Shut up, Frey.
Badgers are going to get their big boy pants. All right, Andrew Dodge comes in and says, thanks, guys. Sorry, Jared. Love you all, including Jared. He loves you, too. Like I said, he's got his farm stuff going on and everything, guys. So that dude's running like 93 different jobs right now. So Nobody's Illusion comes in with a bunch of little heart emojis. The Jared emoji.
Those are the Jared emojis.
And Andrew Dodge says, no spoilers. It'll be pretty sweet. It'll be pretty cool.
I gotta say, I gotta tell one quick story about spoilers. Mm-hmm. So I love going to movies, always have. And everybody always asks me, oh, have you seen this new movie? Yeah. Okay, so tell me about it. Do you really want to know? Yeah. So I tell them about it, and then they're like, oh, I can't believe you spoiled it for me. So I started just telling everybody, no matter what movie it was. It didn't matter what movie it was. Everybody dies. So they're like, oh, did you go see the new Lion King? Yeah, everybody dies. Well, how was Aladdin? Everybody dies. So from now on, if you want to ask me about spoilers, yeah, really. If you want to ask me about spoilers, I'm going to tell you straight up, everybody dies.
I love it. Let's see. Dominic Colby says, by the way, thank you for moving the happening now back to the right side of the screen. Yeah, don't fall in love with that location. It is going to change. I'm telling you right now, it is going to change. And I'll explain to you why really quick, just so that, you know what I mean? Because I know Dominic Colby's like, don't move it. Just leave it right where it's at. It's where I'm used to it. We're going to move it over to the left-hand side because on mobile devices, we want to make sure that the community is the first thing that people on mobile devices see rather than the very, very last thing. And so we have to manipulate and move things around. It's just part of the user experience. And we will get it all sorted and get it kind of squared away. And I promise it will become second nature to you. We're taking our time. We're making sure that it's awesome, Dominic. Promise. T3 says, Matt is like watching a kung fu movie with English dug over. I know. He's going kind of Tron on us, guys.
I'm sorry.
Jetty Smith Dejardo says, I usually tell people when they ask me about the movie, the sex scenes are intense. Don't bring the kids.
Once again, worst version of Aladdin.
I thought we were talking about Air Bud, JD. Dang. Andrew Dodge says, did you guys get your copies of Block yet? Ooh. Hey, we don't do unboxings here anymore.
Nope, we don't.
As he unboxes. And Dominic says, okay, that makes sense. T3 says, have you guys seen Con Air? Con Air's amazing. All right. With that being said, we're out of here, guys. Thank you so much for spending an evening with us. We appreciate you completely. Keep in mind, we're about to open these doors for live transactions. You're going to see a lot of things changing up inside of the system. Stay tuned to the show. Watch our social media for different announcements. We're hiding badge codes all over the dang place, by the way. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So, yeah. Keep an eye out. All right. Love you guys a long time. Later.